Hello everyone, I'm Andy with Liminal Entertainment Technologies, and today I'm going to show you how to control your Zoom call with Qlab by Figure 53. So this video is going to demonstrate how to connect Qlab to the Mac version of ZoomOSC. So if you're not familiar already, ZoomOSC is a program that I created that allows you to have more control of Zoom. And the idea is you use Open Sound Control or OSC to be able to send commands like I want to pin this person, I want to spotlight this person, turn video on and off, so on and so forth. And we just recently created a Mac version with the help of Richard Williamson. So what I'm going to do is first launch ZoomOSC, which you can download from our website, and I'm going to join a Zoom meeting. So the meeting for today is going to be 929-436-15790. And I'm just going to name it, for now I'll just name it ZoomOSC. And the password is 390467. So I'm going to join the call. Join with video. And then the host is going to let me into the call. And there we go. I'm going to not join with audio for now, just so I don't want to create a loop. So here is a Zoom call, just as any other call that you'd be familiar with. Now you also have this console window, which gives you information about what's happening in the Zoom call, and we'll dive into more details on that later. Right now I have a virtual camera, but I could just as easily choose another virtual source or the FaceTime camera, but I'm not even going to worry about video for now on ZoomOSC's end. So now I want to show you how to connect Qlab to this, so I'm just going to go ahead and create a new workspace in Qlab, and I'm going to show you how to create some queues that target ZoomOSC. So once a new workspace has been created, I'm going to go down to the settings cogwheel in the bottom right, and in the workspace I'm going to go down to the, ironically not the OSC control section, I'm going to go to the network tab, and I am going to call this ZoomOSC. I'm going to leave the address and the network adapter as automatic. Destination is going to stay as localhost because I am running ZoomOSC on the same computer as Qlab. If I wanted to connect this to another computer, let's say the Windows version of ZoomOSC, I would put the private IP address of that computer in the destination slot. And either way, I'm going to put port 8000 because ZoomOSC always runs on port 8000. Once I fill that out, I'm going to hit done. And then in the center of the screen, there's a network queue, which is sort of these concentric rings. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to create a network queue. I'm going to go immediately over to the settings tab, and I'm going to make sure the destination is selected as ZoomOSC. Type is going to be an OSC message, and in this large gray space, I'm going to type in the command I want to run based on the ZoomOSC API. So if I reference the 3.2 API, I'll see that, for example, the memory initialization call is /zoom/update. And what this is going to do is it's going to look at the Zoom API, and it's going to give us control bindings for everybody who's in the meeting. So I have just typed in /zoom/update, and then I can either hit send or I can just hit go on this queue. And you'll see in the console window it is now so that it has performed the update, and here are the people in the Zoom meeting. So ZoomOSC, Jane, Pat, Liz, and John. And if we look at ZoomOSC's gallery view, you will see that despite the fact that we've hidden ourselves and we've hidden non-video participants, this does track. So we want to now get a little bit more control out of this. So let's say that we want to spotlight Pat, let's say. So I'm going to create a new network queue, and I'm going to type what the API tells me for spotlighting. So I'm going to type /zoom/spot. And I'm going to look at my list. I'm going to say, okay, ZoomOSC is 0, Jane is 1, Pat is number 2. We have a bunch of different ways of controlling people in ZoomOSC. Indices in a zero index list is one way to do that. So I'm going to fill that out. And one of the things that's important to know about the spotlight function is that you have to be a host or a co-host in order to be able to call it. As you can see, I tried to call it before, and it said that the host privilege was required. So once the host makes me a host or a co-host of the meeting, as you see, I am now a co-host, I'll be able to call this function. So now if I hit the go button, it'll say received the spotlight command and it sent the spotlight command, and you'll see in the upper left-hand corner that we have spotlit Pat, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted to do. Now let's say though that we don't want to be, looking at this console window to figure out which control is who. You have a couple of different options. You could just, in the latest versions of ZoomOSC 3.2 or later, I could just type in, let's say, John. So now let's say I don't want to always have to call the update function to see in the console who is where. One way that we can get sort of persistent bindings out of this is to call the save function. So if I rate a new queue and I type /zoom/save and I fire that queue, you will see that the prompt comes in for access to our disk, and once we grant that, it saves a file to our documents folder. So if I go in and look in the documents folder, I'll see there's a file here, performanceconfig.txt, and if I open that up, you'll see the names of the different people as they appear in memory. So let's say now that I want to make the spotlight function for John index number 0, so I can just type John's name in here, and we'll leave ZoomOSC at the end of this list. Command S to save, and we can close it. And then we need another queue for loading, so /zoom/load. And if I fire that, you'll see that the control bindings are loaded into memory. And so if I, instead of spotlighting 2, I spotlight 0, now John is the spotlight participant. So you can kind of see now the power of this is that we can create a queue list of different queues in the Zoom call for everything from turning video on and off to pinning people to different displays to spotlighting people, unspotlighting people, all that kind of stuff. So, let's just say I really want, in quick succession, I want to spotlight through the different people. Well, let me copy this queue and paste a couple cuts here. So we'll do 0 for the first one, and then 1, then 2, and 3. So now that I created these queues, I can just fire through my queue list. I can spotlight 1. I'll dismiss that because I'm actually joining from this computer on that. And spotlight 2, spotlight 3. And that's exactly what we want. We want to be able to deterministically fire off queues, build a queue list that a stage manager can call, and we can get Zoom to do a specific action that we're looking for, like spotlight a certain person in a meeting, turn video on or off, so on and so forth. We can programmatically build that in Qlab thanks to the OSC control interface, which we added in ZoomOSC.
So we hope that gives you a good sense of how to use Qlab to control your Zoom meeting. As always, if you have any questions, please send us an email at info@liminalet.com. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We also have a Power Users Slack group that's available via a link on our website or in the description of this video, where you can find more information from other power users about how their setups are working and how they're using ZoomOSC to elevate their virtual performance.